Call this meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Graham,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Present.
Hughes,
Here.
Fry,
Present.
Schroller,
Here.
Thrum,
Here.
Barrett.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, first off, we've got public comment. Anybody here for public comment? 5 minutes?
We gotta approve the
Minutes.
Oh, that's right. God dang it. Anybody have any amendments or changes to the minutes? Anybody?
Move to approve minutes of the regular meeting, January 27th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We did that. We did that. Now it's time for public comment, if anybody has, has a need. Okay. Next, business and discussion items. First up, we have Dennis Mason.
Okay,
he gonna show
he
up
is
or not?
ill,
Okay.
and so his wife brought something in for me to read. Because neither one of the people that were supposed to be here could come.
Okay.
Okay, so it pretty well reads like what's in here. We have paid for the electricity up at the Veterans Memorial on a yearly basis if they come and ask. And this is what it says. Good evening, City Council visitors. My name is Dennis Mason. Obviously, it isn't. Being the end of 2019, the city had agreed to make our electrical payments monthly on a yearly basis. So tonight, I'm requesting that be renewed tonight. And as a suggestion to offer another clause to the agreement, it would seem another method might be more desirable if we change the method to say the city council agrees to pay the electrical bill by reimbursing the Vets Memorial Maintenance Fund after we pay the Evergy bill until such time the city desires not to assist in paying the bill. At that time, we would request to be notified to make a plea to the council when it's decided. It also says in December, as you can see that, he discussed with Evergy a negotiation, and they're reducing the bill, and that is because there were 2 lights up there and they removed 1. So that's how the bill got cut in half. Do you have any questions? I don't know if I can answer them for you, but I can try.
How much are we paying?
Well, we were paying right at 50, it was 47 that time. I think this last time it was 45. This cut it down to like 24, 22, 23, because they removed 1 light. There was another light over by the car wash that was doing the same thing. It was on that pole or something.
So is that a month or is that for?
That's a month.
A year ago, when this was discussed, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they going to pursue other options? Like we kind of said, hey, we'll do it another year, but hopefully
Absolutely.
Something else.
That's what we told them.
I thought he was gonna look at solar or something like that at that point.
There were
Yeah.
other things in the works.
And a
Right.
roof or something?
Well, he wanted a roof and he can't get a roof, but you don't need a roof
Yeah.
to do solar.
Okay, well, I just
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, you're right. He wants a roof.
But it's very expensive.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember that being part of a
Conversation.
conversation.
I mean, I think it's a great thing to have, and I'm all for supporting it. On the other hand, I also feel like we get kind of on the hook for never-ending things if we're not careful.
And I think that's why we originally set it up to where we'd have to renew it every year. So every year we'd have to have a discussion about it again, if I remember right, was kind of the thinking. So,
And Dennis does a lot for, help for the city, which I don't think should be overlooked as far as our, sound system downtown and other things. He's been involved with doing a lot of help for that, so to me that, he's very community-minded.
it does look like he did everything he could to try and reduce the electrical bill, so.
I'll make a motion we do it for 1 more year and see how it goes since they are cutting it in half, so.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, and I still think, I agree, and I think we should still encourage them to try to find another funding resource or a way to just eliminate the need for piped-in electricity via solar or what have you. Because to me, I mean, if it costs us $500 to help out with solar, just pulling a number, that might be a good investment for us to help out with.
Just to clarify, December is the last month you're talking about, just so we can
To the end.
tell them where to come.
Calendar year
Calendar year.
2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
We have a motion in a
All right,
second.
any more discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Next up, we have Kyle with an update on the disc golf.
Good evening. I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to speak tonight. So I kind of wanted to, as you can see on what I put in the agenda, just to kind of have an open dialogue and get your thoughts on it, kind of give you my thoughts and what Brian Froggle and I had kind of discussed a couple times, and just kind of talk about things you like, things you dislike about it. I think that everything that I've seen with the course has gone very smoothly. I don't think there's been any hiccups that I've heard about, but again, I don't always have my ear to the ground to that sort of thing. So we did have a tournament this last, I believe it was October, roughly 30 people. We raised quite a bit of money for it that would go towards repairs and maintenance of the course itself. We have a fund that's currently set up with that money. Basically what I would do is, if it were to go permanent status, I would reach out to the businesses that I had spoken to previously. With that, they would donate an additional $150 that I did not ask for prior to. And that would go to cover signage and concrete for the T-pads. T-pads would be roughly 1 yard of concrete. I figured in that they would be 6-sack with fiber mesh in them that would support the weight of the mowers. No problem, they'd be 4 to 5 inches deep. So that wouldn't be a problem as far as the weight that would be distributed, plus vehicles for Mother's Day market that would possibly be parked on there as well. That would take that into account. Yeah, I just kind of like to hear everyone's thoughts on this and kind of go from there.
Has City Hall gotten any reports from anyone, positive, negative? I mean, problems? I know you said you had to fetch some discs from the
There's
pool.
been at least 3 or 4 discs in the pool, but that was from the high school, middle school class. So we knew where they went. They were marked on the back. That was probably the only time. No, I mean, I've seen some positive out there. I haven't, and maybe 1 or 2 negative pop up here. Just verbal stuff. Nothing to just. Maybe it wasn't negative, maybe it was a question about how it was going on, but nothing, nothing to bring up at this point in time.
So it's not, when you said they were in the pool, I guess I didn't know if it was, I didn't know they were middle school. I thought maybe people were calling City Hall like, hey, come down here and get this for me.
No,
It's not
One
that.
guy, just one guy.
Just one time, but no, I happened to be looking at the pool, and there was a couple of them in there, and that one time I was down there and I happened to be there, picked it up, and the guy across the fence the kid across the fence, because I saw the school kids going, they said, that's ours, and it was marked with the MHS or whatever, so,
Has the school been using it substantially?
yes.
Okay. I haven't heard anything from
They
the
do
school.
multiple days of the week, yes.
Point 2, and if you don't mind, I can have Vicky speak
Can't hear you.
on the school thing right now, if that's okay.
Hi, I am Vicki Smith. I am a PE teacher over here at Marysville Junior Senior High. As a PE teacher, we have used the disc golf course in the spring of 2019 and in the early fall months when school starts up until it gets too cold. Any student who takes a PE class has the opportunity to play disc golf. 7th through 12th graders have played our course, and we even have tournaments within our classes. Disc golf has been a part of the curriculum at Marysville Junior Senior High for many years, but has not been able to be fully instituted. Now that we have actual baskets and makeshift tee boxes, we have been able to implement this lifetime activity. If there were permanent tee boxes, it would alleviate many questions from students that we'd get as teachers. We do have maps and we walk the course, but sometimes the flags that are out aren't always visible. Sometimes there is only one flag out, and on occasion there aren't any flags. As teachers and community supporters, we would love to see permanent tee boxes put in. This is a lifelong activity that any person can participate in. Making this a permanent disc golf course for our community is not only benefiting the community, but we are giving our youth a healthy activity to participate in outside of school. In response to the disc being thrown in the pool, yes, we've had a couple 7th graders, and it is probably the first time at ever probably playing this sport. So I feel like we'll have a couple growing pains here these first couple times out.
And that wasn't a complaint. It was,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, when you guys said that, I'm like, yeah, that was.
No,
that was
not a complaint at all. It was not even an issue, so.
Okay, great. Do you have any other questions about like how the school uses the course?
Well, can that box be moved then? That,
So actually, we just brought our own cones out and we scooted it further down. Like when Mary and I play it, we don't have any problem. But for our younger kids who are not as advanced, we just move them further away from it. So it's a pretty simple fix for us.
but I mean, if we're gonna put in permanent ones, should it be moved to a different place? Should it be moved a little way so that we don't have that problem?
I think that my 7th graders sometimes are not always in my visible sight because I'm monitoring the whole park. I feel that the location it's in is probably okay if you're like with your parents. I feel that they're probably gonna be on top of you and be like, all right, make sure you're aiming this way. You know, I feel that they'll be giving you more instruction. Granted, we go over that before we go outside, but when you have 37th graders, you can't always stand at one hole and be like, all right, do not throw it in the pool. Okay, so.
Well, but what I'm saying is that you're not always gonna have, people are not always gonna have their parents there.
I'm not gonna disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for you on that.
I mean, before we made permanent boxes, I mean, should it be tweaked? Because you're not always gonna have people that are gonna be, you're gonna have beginners out there or people that don't play it all the time. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a Kyle question.
Sorry.
Any other questions? Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, Terry, did you have one for?
No, I didn't have a question for, I had for Kyle. Or is number 2 going to stay where it's at?
I would like to see it stay there. We could move the basket to the other side of the road, which would still make the road itself out of bounds. But, I mean, I think that everyone's careful. It's a non-issue.
Can't hear you.
I think that if everyone's careful, it's typically a non-issue, but it would be hugging the road. If we moved it to the other side, that could still result in discs coming over into the street itself. I think that it adds a little bit of a challenge to it, just because it is an obstacle, if you will, just to not land it in the street itself. But you know, it could be moved. The basket could be taken out and put on the other side, but you know, you still do run the risk of it drifting into the.
Well, before it's permanent, yeah. I question that due to the fact that you guys, disc players aren't going to always be policed. And we do have a law here in town about, well, Austin, why don't you explain what you told me today?
The law you're referencing says do not recklessly throw stuff into the street, basically.
And who is responsible?
The person throwing is responsible.
And that's understood that the thrower will be liable for whatever they do.
I believe before we had installed the course that we established that that was the case, and to begin with, that yes, just like golf, just like anything, that the person hitting it, throwing it, would in fact be liable for that. So yes, that is my understanding as well.
My only other question to you is, because Austin explained to me today that once they're established permanently, they are the property of the city.
Yes, I believe that was also just agreed upon as well, is that once they do become, in fact, I think that as of right now, they are city property because they are in there, so.
Well, they're not permanent, so they're still somebody else's until you do.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, the agreement is that they are city property, yes.
One last question. The city voted and approved to do this with an agreement that's worked out fine in the park, but there was also going to be a 6-month deal where maybe you guys would have put on a tournament or whatever at Lakeview also. What are your plans to just completely forget that part of what we voted to do?
No, I mean, my question for you then would be is how are the baskets going to be removed, and not only from Lakeview, but from City Park to put into Lakeview as well?
I understand that, but there are baskets at Lakeview now, and there could be a tournament or something, so people could have a chance to find out about it.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to host a tournament at Lakeview. I know that the main concern for me initially moving here was the baskets being beyond repair in Lakeview, just because they were homemade, and that's kind of what prompted me to take the initiative to do this, is just because of the baskets in poor shape. But I mean, I'd be more than happy to sponsor a tournament and put it on.
It's just one thing that we voted to do that, and if we're not going to do that, well, we're not complying with what we said we were going to do. That's my only concern.
Understood, yeah.
You already know how I feel about it, and it's a done deal. It's been voted to be done, but I'd like to have it done right.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Yep.
I have no more questions.
Okay.
Are you comfortable where the baskets are right now? We don't have to do any major moving?
I don't think so. For her question, yes, the tee box could be moved up. My plan for that was to not need a full 9 yards of concrete, just to save costs with it, and to utilize some of the walking path as part of the two tee boxes, which would be number 5 and number 9. That would not, we wouldn't have to have 9 yards of concrete then. To that point, what we would do is then simply just move the sign up a little ways, and still be able to use that space as the tee box. But yes, it can be moved up to try to take away the risk, I guess, of the disc going in the pool possibly. But you know, it can be, yeah, and that can be done.
Well, Terry brought up a good point about we did say to give this a try, we wanted to be fair and even-handed and make sure all parties kind of had their chance and look at it. And I personally am in favor of it being in the park. I like it because I can walk there, and I like it because the school can use it, and it's closer, and it's treed, and all the other things that I think makes it an appealing place to spend time. But if we were to go ahead with the original plan and try it at Lakeview, the existing baskets up there, would they have to be removed? Could they be covered or taken out of service in some other way to give that a trial run? I understand how they would be not part of that probably, or I'm kind of trying to figure out what that would look like if we decided we should continue doing that.
Understood. What would be an alternative basket, like if we're not using those? I guess.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you thought do you know how many baskets there are at Lakeview? Are there 9?
I believe there's 9. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's, sufficient to hold a tournament where they're located now? I know it's not ideal and it's not maybe laid out ideally. But if we were going to give that a try.
Yeah, I believe Tony Montiel went through and kind of did a reconfiguration of the course on how it would flow a little bit better through that part. We could absolutely do that. With his setup, we'd have to mark out tee boxes and everything according to his vision on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that it would be sufficient right now to play it. Yeah.
A couple of those are beat up pretty bad. And
Yeah.
We've been up there, out walking around, and they've been thrashed.
Yeah,
So
that,
that's a big part of it.
that would be my
Trying to
concern
hold
is the functionality of them. It's not necessarily the placement of them that would be poor, but just the, how, the shape of them.
Yeah.
How, if you were to mark out tee boxes and have a tournament up there, how soon could that be taking place? I mean, I know we're not necessarily ideal weather, but hopefully it'll be turning fairly soon.
I'm hopeful, yeah. Yeah, I mean, first nice weekend, if we can foresee that. Yeah, we could absolutely, in fact, we could probably, if we planned it out well enough, start in the morning at Lakeview, start in the afternoon, or vice versa at City Park, and play a full 18 for that day. And
then you could really get an apples and apples opinion from people.
correct, yes. And then you kind of have a more concrete idea of what people are thinking. You would have to preface it with, hey, think about this, not the baskets and their shape, the course layout, that, not necessarily just the shape of the baskets. But, yeah, I mean.
I think council members could participate or spectate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, like I said, I personally am pretty partial to having them in the park, and I always have been. And if that would have been the way this went in the first place, I'd have been all for it. That being said, we, as a council, decided to pursue this as trying to make a fair comparison, since we thought they were both possible locations. And I think before we, jump and change what we've already said we would do, and set a pretty bad precedent that way, I think we should try and see if Kyle's willing to do a two location tournament, and let's see what kind of feedback we get. And I mean, I think we should be proactive as far as if there's 30 participants, if there's any way we can actually have all 30 of them fill out something or say something in writing or online or whatever. I mean, I really think that, and we could get comments from the public and everybody else, of course, but I think we need to do our due diligence to make sure we're giving everywhere a shot.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well,
We haven't got any.
I think we need to more proactively seek it.
Brian Froggle was going to come speak this evening, but he got called to ref a junior high game. I believe he had the scorecards from what everybody had played the course and kind of wrote down their opinion. Again, he has them, I'm pretty sure, but with him being called away this evening, that was something I think he was going to discuss. But
Well, I think that'd be, paper version or anonymous on, just a Survey Monkey, something we could say, hey, if you want to fill something out.
yeah.
Something, I want to get more than anecdotes. I want to get opinions, and I think the only fair way to do that is give everywhere a chance and get everybody, not only give them a chance to give feedback, but get them to give hey, I really want to know what you think.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt my feelings. What do you, pluses, minuses,
Yeah.
unvarnished opinion. But that's, council's job, or can decide doing whatever, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, like I said 2 weeks ago, I think this would be a waste of time to do it, waste of resources. You can't tell me that when the city voted on something, they can't go back and change it, go against what they, just because you guys voted on something to do something, there's no reason why you can't, well, this turned out pretty good, let's just do this. There's, why? I don't know. Just because you vote on something to do something doesn't mean you can't vote on something to change it.
Right, but, I mean, you ask average Joe on the street, they're gonna say you can't trust the government because they don't do what they say. Well, I'm from the government, I'm here to say, we're gonna do what we say around here as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm just saying that I'm sure it has happened before.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
Well, if we don't, there'll always be that other side going, well, you didn't give it a fair shake.
Right.
You didn't give it a chance. And it may not be a lot, but it'll be enough. So, like it or not, if Kyle's willing, and that way it'll be settled. That's what I'm looking for it just to be settled.
now you will help put a course up at Lakeview, is that what, or?
I'd be more than happy to help put on a tournament. I don't know if there's another 9 businesses that would be willing to donate an additional 9 baskets. I mean, I could sure try, but, I don't know. But, I'd be more than happy to help install, do anything if called upon. I did the entire city park by myself, so.
I would say where I'm at on this is that it's been, when did you originally come? It's almost 2 years ago that you originally came in front of the council.
Close to, yeah.
Like in, was it April? It's been almost 2 years. And the first year basically became kind of a show and nothing really got accomplished. And then nothing finally got put in until the next April. And then never really pushed the 6 months one place and another, because honestly, I don't think any of us wanted to dig up that problem again.
I'll shoulder that burden. I am on my clinical rotations right now, so
We could have brought it up too, and I don't think there was a lot of appetite for that either.
I'll take that, because this was my project to begin with, so that's something that, I could have been more diligent, and it's just time got away from me and being busy, and that's on me. I'll take that.
But I would say, I think that there has been more thought and time and discussion on this issue than probably any other issue I've seen come in front of council in the last, since I've been on here.
It shouldn't have been that big of an issue.
And council can do what they want, but in my opinion, I would like to see, if council does not have a problem with it in City Park, I'd like to see it go forward and let him get to work on installing a permanent installation. It's up to council, whatever you want to do, but I'm afraid if you ask for another 6 months trial, then we're in this next year, and the next thing you know, you're in the fall, and it's gonna be another whole year.
If you're talking about how soon reasonably, giving a little bit of leeway for weather, could a tournament be held, do you think, by the time everything's laid out and advertised, whatever?
I'd say want to push for March, by the time it's decent weather, give us enough time to reach out to local communities, because we had guys come from Nebraska, several people come. Seneca, they came over, a couple people from Manhattan, so there was a pretty good turnout from the surrounding area, but that'd be something, we did push that, advertise that for probably close to a month before we actually put on the tournament, but.
So, if we did that, and by the time we, build a month of leeway in, build a month of, opinion gathering in, end of May, it's only 3 months away, a little more. It's not as far off as it sounds. I agree. I don't want us to be sitting here in a year kicking this around.
Here's if I may, maybe a third option out there. Because one is just start with City Park and ignore everything else. 2 is weigh City Park versus Lakeview. 3, as I see it, is say that we already have City Park and evaluate Lakeview for an 18-hole course. So we got 9, we can add 9 more. Whether it be donation funded or city funded, maybe that's the decision that should be bannered around.
I like that. I like the idea of having more than one course. It's not, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Right.
But I still think we have to give both a try, and we can keep trying one while we do the other.
Right, but in this scenario, you would be still trying Lakeview, but with the knowledge that you have City Park set in...
Regardless. So even if people said City Park's junk and I'm just saying. Even if people said if City Park's junk and Lakeview's awesome, then we're locking it in regardless.
I mean,
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to say no. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But it's a third option after we test it out, just to go, okay, they loved Lakeview too.
If both of them love, if both are loved and both are like, you should keep both, if we're getting that opinion, then absolutely, I think that'd be something to pursue. But to me, I think the spirit of the original decision should be followed.
I can appreciate that.
I think when people do play it, I think maybe just go to the city's Facebook page and voice their opinion on which they'd rather
Put a
play.
survey on the Facebook page.
Right, well, I think the idea was,
Of course, you could get that, it could be gamed, so, I mean, I'm not saying that's the best idea. but-
Right. I don't know, if we're going with the tournament, hopefully there'd be comment cards available for them.
And I think, I mean, if I'm here and not participating, I'd like to go watch and see, I mean, observation goes a long ways.
Right. Do people use the course at Lakeview, like kids, while their siblings play, or, I mean, is it, or do they only just go there just to play? Like, I mean, to me, if I was a kid and my brother was playing ball, I'd like to go do something else. I just was curious if that happened. I have no idea. I've never.
I don't think a lot, but also the same thing is there's no signage. So, I mean, I lived here for a couple years before I even noticed there was a course there.
I don't see anybody playing at City Park
I was just
either,
curious.
so.
I don't know.
I haven't seen hardly anybody playing at City Park, for that matter.
I have a couple times, and actually, one of the, I'd say, feather in the cap of the City Park course is that we were riding bikes down there, and the people who were playing, some of them were local and some weren't, not gonna name them, were very considerate, and it was just kind of cool to see people sitting watching squirrels and people playing on the playground and people, I mean, it made the park seem vibrant and diverse. And that's why, like I said, I'm very partial to that, but I think I've said my piece.
Well, does anybody want to make a motion?
Would you like direction as far as like, if I said, like what I said, I think we should try that, do you want us to like ask you to do it or formally?
No, I mean,
Or
I can,
Brian?
yeah, I'll work with Brian on this, because him and I did the last tournament, so, and we've kind of been proposing putting on another one at City Park when the weather had gotten decent, but, I think that's something we'd want to incorporate both courses to get, real-time feedback, would give us a better idea, so, yeah, I have no problem with that, and I can talk with him, and, we'll have a little bit of time for.
And, I mean, if, Austin, if they come up with some sort of plan or proposal, can they submit it without having to reappear, or would you prefer?
I mean, that's, as long as it needs no description, I mean, typically, it's good to have people to answer questions, but yeah, that's fine.
I don't think it needs a motion, but I think we should let them plan a tournament, go from there and gather opinions and make firm, hard decisions in a couple of months once we've gathered feedback.
So table it until end of May?
I'd say, yeah, I move to table.
Get a time frame on it.
Yes. The table
Well, like,
finalizing
we
the
will-
decision by the end of May 2020, by the second meeting in May 2020.
Okay. And that would be May 26th is that meeting, because it's the day after Memorial. Okay.
Yep.
26, you said?
Yep.
So then we can figure it out and be
Yeah.
done.
And please do provide us like those cards if Brian has those,
Yeah,
or
I'll speak with him and see.
whatever information would be great.
Okay, yeah, I can do that, and I'll try and set a date, and I will try to reach out and let you all know when this is gonna be happening, so if you would like to be present, or...
We can put it on our website.
Yeah, I can make that available for everybody, so...
Great.
Yep.
I guess we'll just shoot for it, and unless there's extreme inclement weather, we'll go with it. So-
All right.
Maybe have a second.
Set the table?
Do you have to table?
Yeah.
I didn't get a second.
Second.
Okay, second, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Tabled.
Thank you.
Until May
Thanks,
26th.
Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, next up, we have the Ross application for Sergeant Matt Simpson.
Right, Matt submitted an application for Ross, he was approved, and the only thing, so basically, come to council to approve it as well, because this would mean $1,500 from the city. And we included minutes from the last time this issue came up, and the council has had a consensus that should be open to all employees. So that's where we're at. So it's up for you guys to approve him to be on our Rural Opportunity Zone. $1,500 a year for 5 years.
Is that the police budget, correct?
Yeah, out of general fund.
Did you say general fund or the police?
The police budget, it'll be the salaries line.
Salaries line.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, move to approve the ROS application for Sergeant Matt Simpson.
Second.
Any other discussion? Terry?
I'd like to ask a question. Is there a probation period for this?
6 months.
Should we do this before the probation's up?
He wouldn't get paid until November. It wouldn't go through till November, is when the program comes.
So if he's terminated at
Then
the end
this
of
is
his
gone.
probation,
Yep.
then this just
He has to be a
becomes
part of this
non-issue.
organization,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, one other question. If he's here 2 years and then he's gone, are we still gonna pay
No.
for 5 years?
He has to be a part of this organization.
Okay,
Yep.
that's all I want to know.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next up, we have Charter Ordinance number 23 on the election swearing date changes.
Move to approve Charter Ordinance number 23, swearing in of council people, mayors.
Second.
Second, all right. Any discussion?
Basically, it's taking it from January to the first meeting in December.
Yes.
Yep.
First meeting in December.
In December, yes.
Any other discussion? This one a roll call?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Graham,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
8-0.
Got a 61-day wait period on this.
Right, well, and it won't affect anybody till 2021, actually. It's newly elected, so.
Okay, next up, we have the crack seal machine. And you had a letter in there from Gary.
Yes, describing why we need to keep the old one. It does 3 different the old one does 3 different materials, and the new one will only do one of them. So to keep it for mastic, which is one of the 3 materials that will fill the bigger cracks, which he included a picture of the bigger cracks on the other page. So that's why we would want to keep it. We did check to see if there was trade-in value, and the suppliers said they had 5 on the floor and didn't have any interest in ours. So no trade-in value to speak of. So that's where that was at. So at this point in time, we'd just like for approval to buy the new crack seal machine so we can have a more efficient machine to do crack sealing for chip and seal, as well as just filling in cracks on any of the roads we need to.
How many days last year did we use that crack sealer?
A lot of days. It was, I don't have the number, but every day we could do it, we had a crew out doing it. I mean, when it's, the perfect time to do it is in fall and in spring, because it's cooler, it doesn't work so well, it doesn't do good in hot weather or really cold temperatures. So we have a short time frame to get it done. But every day we could foreseeably do it, we were out doing it.
Is this something where, do we have enough guys that we can have them both going?
Yes, especially if we lower this down to just a mastic material only. That way we can fill in the big holes or the wider cracks that the newer machine can do, but it's not as effective.
Okay.
So it's they can be out at the same time.
Good.
If we really need to get something done, yes, they can.
No, but I meant for the new machine. How many days would we possibly be using the new machine?
The same amount as we did last year, as much as we can, because we got lots of cracks out there.
Okay, so, and how many blocks do we actually chip and seal?
This year, we're planning on 34 chip and seal.
No, I mean, how many blocks do we actually have in town that we chip and seal?
Oh, total? Like
Total?
A lot, yeah.
Well, you did 70 some last year, in the year alone.
And how many years are in the rotation?
You try to get 5, but it depends on the severity of the road itself. So we try to do 70 in a year, 70 blocks in a year.
So if you figured that in a 5-year rotation, maybe 350-ish total?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have over 300 blocks.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to plan on doing 45 or something
30,
this year.
we're gonna do chip and seal 34 this year, but that doesn't preclude us from using the crack seal machine beyond that. More than that. We can do the crack seal really helps prevent water from getting to the base. The chip and seal gives you a surface to drive on. And it helps more. It gives you a better surface. The crack sealing can work by itself. That's why we can do more than our chip and seal. So it further reinforces the chip and seal, but it can work by itself. So that's why we can do more than our crack seal.
And it lasts about 5 years.
Ideally, yes. Yeah. Like I said, this new machine, the current machine we have at least one person getting up at 4 a.m. the day that we crack seal to get the machine warmed up. With the new machine, it has an electric warmer that you can plug in overnight and get things going, so you're not waking up, the guy's not waking up at 4 in the morning to just get the machine going. So we're saving so much on our sanity, actually, is the main part.
So nobody's drawing short straw anymore?
Yes, and it's usually the supervisor that's doing it, so it will save us so much time, and
But for $48,000, it needs to save us something, so. but-
it'll save our roads as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Any more discussion? Does anybody want to make a motion to purchase the sealer?
Move that we purchase the new crack sealing machine for
What was it, $48,994.
$48,994. And keep the old one.
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next thing on the list is the Lakeview Master Plan. Like I said in my little synopsis, these are master plans with one major distinction. The lower parking lot to remain a parking lot, or it to be turned into a multi-purpose field. There are other aspects of this master plan that may not be ideal, but those can be changed in the process. What they want to know is this major detail, so they can, Schwabe can continue to work on how water drains. So with that in mind, which way does the council want to go? Option 1 or C1, or which is with the parking lot to remain on the lower part, or a multi-purpose field, which is C2.
Well, I ran this idea to Brian with where the horse arena is. Put that to the possible grass and use that as an existing field. And he said he could put 2 T-ball field up there without lights.
Right.
If we wanted to. And players can, if that is a grass area up there, players can, if you have tournaments or something, they can go up there and practice whatever without worrying about hitting any cars and stuff like that.
Right.
And he said the only time he notices that the horse arena gets used is during fair time.
I was gonna say, I know the horse arena gets used, so I'm loath to do much. On the other hand, having had T-ball kids, it's pretty hard to get fields for practice sometimes. So is kind of a nice idea. And since T-ball games don't take place at night, you wouldn't need lights. I know the fields at Dargits get pretty heavily used, and that's not always optimal with the playground there and everything anyway.
But he said he could fit 2 fields up there if we needed to, and you don't have to use lights.
What does Swab Eaton recommend?
That's why they're asking. They put these two together to see what you guys were thinking. Well, like I said, we could tell them to implement the T-ball fields or whatever. I don't think that's really at this point, whether it be an arena or a T-ball field, I don't think that affects the drainage since it's a flat surface anyways. So we can make that change if you guys want to.
As presented, the C2 is, I think, preferable despite the parking thing, but I think maybe that could be slightly remediated with some design changes in that drop-off area loop. Would be my hope there. Maybe to the north, things could be structured where there would be some parking maybe into that hill, even if it required some excavation or things. I don't know. The property line's probably far enough back there where that could be done just as an option. I think that's the biggest strike against it. Besides the fact also they didn't include in the design any sidewalk along 20th Street, but I mentioned that last time.
Yeah, that's an issue with me too.
That seems like it should be, I mean, if you're gonna have a walking loop,
Yeah, you want a loop, yeah. Yes, definitely. That can be changed too, so.
This multi-purpose field, I mean, I know we built that drainage pathway through there.
Right.
I mean, in this proposal, would that be just removed, or would there be like a French drain underground?
They would have to, I think that would be one of the solutions they'd have to come up with.
But they think they could have a level multi-purpose field. To be clear, that multi-purpose field on here would be level.
I think so.
Or, it drained, but.
It would feel level probably.
Yeah, it wouldn't have a ditch in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that design, it leaves a lot of room for kids to play and things. As far as safety-wise, I think it's vastly preferable to C1.
Now, I, on the other hand, being an older community, and the older people that go down to the ball games prefer C1, so the older people can get down and don't have to walk as far to get to their kids' games.
See, what I'm saying on that C2, couldn't that loop be designed where they aren't really gonna have to walk as far if we improve some parking situations, maybe
You're still walking
rejiggered it?
from the north end of that ballpark, 280 yards or 280 feet to the
this side.
dugout, or to the center and then into the...
Right. Well, and I'm gonna get strung for this, but here's what I'm gonna say. Ball field is for kids to play and for safety first, for convenience second. I understand completely, I say this as somebody who wants my kids' grandparents to be there, that's not ideal for that, but I think if you could find a way to split that hair, then I think the safety is always gonna be number one.
And I agree with you, but there's reasons and stuff that our current parking problem up there is not right, the way it was designed originally and the layout. So I think if it was stays there and redefined a little bit, the problem can take care of itself.
Can we add more handicap parking to the west?
I don't think you need more
Of the current
handicap.
one?
You don't need handicap, you just need stuff so people don't
There's
Yeah, but we
walk
can
so
always
far.
add more.
There's 5 there currently, correct, Austin?
That's in our current setup?
Yes.
6.
6,
I
okay.
think there's 6.
Are
I
they
was
going
trying
to
to
be
remember what
still
we had put in
there with either of these plans? Are they still going to be there?
In the one, yes, they should still be there. if the parking remains.
They moved the batting cages on C1, and on C2, it's the batting cages that are keeping that loop from coming farther south. That's why, to me, if you have that as reserved senior parking, and I know policing, that's not easy. You have to do a lot of honor system, leaning there. But if you put parking, you can move that batting cage and put more parking around the entirety of that loop, then you're really not much farther away than a lot of people have to park anyway. Because as is with the current parking lot or with the parking lot in C1, unless you're there early or you're lucky in timing, you're not gonna get a very good spot anyway. Half the time, my parents are late enough, they park up on the north and the overflow, because there's no parking down there. I just think, regardless, either way, a better designed parking lot's gonna hold more people than the way we have it now.
And the problem with as many people as I've seen up there before, at certain times at ball fields, our lower parking lot's full, the upper parking lot is full, and there are people parked on above the Blue Diamond up there too, on 20th Street and across. And and now they're not gonna be able to park on the west side if we get our fire station in there, If that goes in, that's gonna be another problem. We're gonna lose a bunch of parking stalls there for people.
Right.
And I don't want to be just a complainer about the way people park, but a lot of times they park so far in between each other where you'd have 10 more spots in that lower lot at least if people just parked.
Yeah, but you're not gonna change that.
Well, I don't know why you couldn't put parking around the perimeter of it as well. Like, have a few parking spots over here on the black side. Have a few parking spots over closer to the blue. Like, make different parking areas that you could, if your child was playing on the Black Diamond, you could pull down there and watch on the Black Diamond.
I think if you...
Or the blue.
It seems like there's a way to hybridize
red.
this. While you're at it, to be able to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, part of it on C2 is I noticed that parking lot expansion they shows it extending further east, about halfway down the slope between the current lots, or the current lot and both current lots. And I imagine that would take a lot of earth moving, but that does bring you pretty close too. As it is, that's pretty much the far row of that lower lot.
It would be nice to have a place for the kids to play soccer and flag football, because Brian did make that comment that right now there's no downtime to reseed the fields because the fields are currently being used
all the time
for either baseball, softball, t-ball, flag football, soccer. It would be nice to have an area and where kids, if their siblings are playing baseball, they could even go run and play on this grass area as well. You don't have to worry about cars driving through there, but I agree that I feel that there should be some parking around the perimeter so you don't have to walk all the way to the Black Diamond. You could pull your car down there and have a few spots down there.
There's no way the Black Diamond that's ever gonna happen.
Black one's the toughest one.
Yeah,
Unless you park on the bottom down by the lake.
Yeah.
There's a gate between the...
There is, isn't there?
Yeah. There's a gate between the blue and the black and the red and the black.
So, on this parking lot expansion, the way it's set up, it's gonna have to be flat. It goes down, are they gonna dig out the hill, or what are they gonna do?
One of the ideas that I got thrown was to remove the dirt, because apparently you dig down underneath that lot. Well, actually, up there's dirt.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Probably as deep as the lower lot.
Right. So you dig that out, use the dirt for the lower lot to build your multi-purpose field, because right below that is rock.
Yeah, it's rock.
So you take dirt from here, put it down there, and you got an expanded parking lot.
You're almost leveling it.
Yes.
Right, okay. Which would be nice.
Yes.
How many are you eliminating compared to how many you're getting?
Parking? That's a good question.
Because you're eliminating quite a bit. Even if you expand the top, you're eliminating quite a bit.
Honestly, I think this expanded upper lot, if you look at it, just kind of imagine it overlaid, is going to be like 140% of the lower lot now. And I think if you do that, and if you do the lot with designated parking spots. You're gonna recover some more spaces that way. But I think where the people park now up here by the recycling trailer and that, you start thinking about, well, if that became a proper parking lot and was lined out, I think there's a lot of spaces that could actually be had, but it's hard to visualize now because people are all willy-nilly. People are parallel parking, angle parking, straight parking, parking with 10 feet in between or 1 foot in between. It's
They're actually there.
Any more discussion? Myself, I like more parking, so I have a tendency to take Kevin's view on it. The only thing I don't like about the C1, I don't like that drop-off lane around the playground. I'd want to do something different with that maybe, because I just don't like kids running off there because they aren't looking where they're going, and I don't like them running across the drop-off lane.
on that C2, where the derelict sand volleyball pits are, nothing's being done with that. I mean, what's to prohibit that from being parking as well? Because it would be right across the trail from the other parking, and that would be.
It sits low, as I remember.
But if they're moving dirt around, now's the time to move dirt around.
Over there too? Yeah, that would be a
I don't think
ideal
it would,
place to have
and even if it
parking
had a
on
little
that
bit of
side.
slope or a step, and you had to drive down through and then back, I mean, it's gotta be a way to engineer around that.
If they could make that parking.
Because it's just fallow.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
that should be
It's
parking.
just drainage is all it is.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just make parking all around here?
Isn't that what we're trying to solve is drainage?
Yes.
Well, that's,
Take
if
that away.
we're saying, like,
Yes.
we need to incorporate more, I mean, this would be the time to.
To do it,
Now's the
yes.
do
time
it.
to try to solve those and
Yes.
foresee, future.
No matter which plan you take, you can make that into parking.
Right.
Either way, probably should be looked at.
Okay.
And we should probably tell them that they need to look into more parking and possibly that area as being parking. To engineer the drainage.
Yeah, it's kind of left out. I mean, I understand why they wouldn't mess with some of the other things as far as the arena and stuff, but that area is
Here's one of the things that I think one of the master plans previously had is in this arena area would be a new parking lot. Now, if you're talking about, so you eliminate the horse arena, that's the direction you want to go. You stick a multi-purpose field down here. That could be T-ball, that could be whatever you need it to be at the whatever time, and make this arena parking lot right there. And that solves your black diamond.
You're gonna get pushback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so.
Them
Yeah.
Edstrom people, you're gonna get pushback.
Yeah.
Well, you already talked about putting a T-ball.
I'm just saying.
So I'm
gonna
just
get
saying, if you're gonna bite the bullet,
Yeah,
that's probably the way to
To me,
do it.
yeah, if you get rid of the arena, then you're harming the intent of the Hedstrom Hall, which at some point then, are you just gonna completely throw that out? Because,
Can't really, we got it in policy and ordinance.
well, yeah, but ordinances can be changed. Councils can change their mind at any time. We can discuss that.
But, no,
I'm not recommending that.
I just brought that up since you guys were talking about T-ball right in that area, making that a grass area, T-ball lot. So if that was a serious thought, you can make that parking, put the T-ball, or they could have T-ball stuff down there.
T-ball can be right in the arena as it is, it's not a permanent game.
There's a huge spot behind the red diamond back there that the city already mows. It's clear back behind, clear down to the lake. That would also make an excellent T-ball spot too.
Well, the multi-purpose field, I mean, doesn't have backstops. How much of a backstop do you need for T-ball?
You don't.
Not much. Well,
Ridiculous.
I don't know, my kid's gonna be a runner, so.
You might need more backstop than anything, because none of them can throw.
So, just throwing it out there. Do you guys need more discussion on this? Do you want to let the Parks and Rec Committee or whatever talk about it some more? Or are you narrowed down to, hey, we like this one, but
Can the, Parks and Rec or the council at large put together we liked this, we want this, can you bring us something that has these features? We liked this, but can, present these changes, maybe modify both C1 and C2 a little bit?
Okay.
Is that possible?
That's fine. It's our timeline is all we're
Right.
expecting. They'll take our money either way.
This is, a lot of things I don't want to see go forever, but this is the kind of thing where I think if we're diligent
gotta think about it,
and
yeah.
try to solve all these things.
Considering this is the third one we've done for this ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta make it right. We want to do it right.
Three
We're spending
strikes
a lot
and
of
you're
money.
out.
Yeah,
We're spending a lot of money on it.
we've spent a lot of money on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
well,
But look how much it's utilized.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
but
know,
we want to do it right.
So you want more thought, which is completely fine.
I want C1A and C1 and C2A or C2B or whatever it would be.
So far I got, maybe we make a list right now, more parking, maybe utilizing the sand volleyball,
More convenient parking
more
for
convenient.
And,
people that may have trouble getting around a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe parking around the outside perimeter of the Black Diamond and,
Sidewalk on 20th Street.
Yep.
Sorry.
If
you're gonna be asking.
Yeah.
And then, the next thing I'm gonna say is, what about crosswalks and all that sort of thing?
No.
I think we should have a sidewalk along Carolina Street too, so kids can walk to the ballpark from the rest of town.
Well, that thing goes like this, and it goes like that. Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And we would need a walking path between the blue and the black up to the horse arena if we put anything up there.
Yep.
Or if you put parking down there.
They'll make a walking
Huh?
path.
Or if you put parking
They'll
down
build their
there.
own.
People will walk.
Need a walkway through.
You might
yeah.
want to eliminate that drop-off, Austin, on C1. Or fix it, where it's in between the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that needs to be eliminated.
So we
Nobody wants that.
don't like the drop off.
No.
Don't
Not on
like the drop off. I don't like the drop
I mean, not with the kids running there, that's really scary.
That's not,
off. Okay.
What's
So
this over it?
that's the front of the concession stand there coming out.
And there's
it looks like
probably
a widened
speed bump.
crosswalk. Crosswalk.
Like
Yeah.
one of those, well, they have those speed bump crosswalks in front of like
Yes.
Target and stuff,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so more convenient parking on perimeter, and then sidewalk on 20th. What else?
Multi-purpose field or T-ball fields up by the arena. Got to get that.
On their drawings, they show this kind of drive around Hedstrom Hall. I'm pretty sure I forget that exists there.
Yeah, I don't.
It seems like almost, even if we didn't put parking around where the sand volleyball pits are, there is so much room up there that could be carved out for that purpose.
No, there's a lot of room up in there that can be
A lot of room.
More than
utilized for other things.
it's just nothing happening.
Yes. And instead of focusing it all here, maybe spreading it out a little bit might not be a.
Well, even the sand volleyball, it is not used at all, so there's no reason why we're not parking.
Too many
there.
sandburs in there.
Well, if
Bury
you're
'em.
gonna park, it's, you wanna cover it with.
When you say multi-purpose around Hedstrom, what exactly does that translate into? We're not getting rid of the arena, or are we?
Well, you have it on C2 as multi-purpose field.
Flag football.
Oh, convert the arena into a multi-purpose field? Okay.
I don't know if we want to point them in that direction
Yeah.
just yet, but you could use the area down, like Kevin said, down in the red.
Behind the red
diamond.
that back
Make
there.
that a T-ball area.
Red.
How level is that down there, Kevin? I haven't been back there in a long time.
It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, there's a little drop, but it's nothing serious
severe.
back here. No.
That they could level out if they're moving dirt.
But you-
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not making-
easily.
Disc golf back there now too. Down in this area.
Yeah, there's two
Yeah, there are some
two
tees.
tees back
Oh,
through
is
there.
that right?
More convenient parking around perimeter, sidewalk on 20th, multi-purpose behind red.
Ask them how many handicap spots they have, you don't wanna lose any, right?
It's gonna be a proportion of the total number of spots
Or
available
something.
on the property?
It's based
There's
On our-
there's a
Well, then they
formula.
probably know that, so
Yeah.
then it's.
Well, we give them our book.
Do you have on there about the sand volleyball pit area too?
Oh, I wrote that on the map.
Okay.
I should have that. And then I also wrote, didn't like the drop off.
See,
Parking. Okay.
Is the entrance still gonna stay there?
The
Is
what?
the entrance still gonna stay where it is currently?
No,
No.
it'd just be the
That's a walking
current exit
path.
one
Yeah, the exit would be it.
up on the north
They
end of
come
the
in and
property.
out.
Because they cut the entrance off and made it a walking path.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at this and I thought that's what they had done, but, so entrance and exits all on the top.
on the north.
North side, yeah.
North side, yes.
Just be two-way traffic instead
Right.
of one-way.
Yep. They'd widen that out and, yeah, they give you a much wider pathway.
You know, depending on what kind of finish we put on the parking lot, if it was lined, you know, that would take care of a lot of parking problems too.
Exactly.
Yes,
too.
yes.
Versus the gravel we had there that everybody just kind of,
Yes.
some are this way, some are that way, you know, however you pulled in.
Okay. I think I got a list to bring back to him. Maybe they'll come back
Would
with.
the batting cages be
See,
relocated?
that's what I wondered too, because like as far as if you tried to create more parking, if you went off a C2 model, there's a lot of parking that could be had there if you moved the batting cages and
Well, I know
even
they
moved that
talked,
shade structure. You could just make a lot of room right there.
I know they talked about putting up another batting cage. I guess they do have cages there now, so.
Yeah, just because that's where they currently are, doesn't mean that's where they have to be. I mean, they
Right,
could
right.
be moved over here.
Right, or they could be moved up into that on C2, what it calls parking area, they could move to the north end of that. Because you'd rather have more closer parking than closer batting cages. The batting cages don't need to be that convenient.
They'll just have to use a longer extension cord to run their pitching machine.
We can
Power goes
run a
out.
conduit in a box up there.
Power goes out to there anyway, so it goes out to that power pole where it comes in.
All right. Anything else?
Has anybody complained that need more safety nets from
Foul
last
ball
year?
protection.
Yeah.
Not to us. No, nobody's come to us.
Yeah, it's been mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's mentioned before, but
Yeah.
not, yeah. They kind of avoid us.
Didn't we buy
Foul-
them with?
Well, I thought that there is funding set aside for that, but we don't want to put it in until after we get
Got this
some of
right,
this
right.
Absolutely.
decided on what we were doing, because you don't want to put it in and then tear it out.
Right.
I was gonna say, I thought we talked.
Yeah, we got money sitting in the foundation, but for shade structures, foul ball protection, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Both, yeah. Okay.
Nothing else.
You'll talk to him about that?
Supposed to be
Yep,
watching
I
the
will
TV.
relay the message and hopefully come back with a better plan.
Right, and now we need to recess the city council and call to order the Public Building Commission.
Move to recess and call the Public Building Commission to order.
Have a second?
Second.
Right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, Graham,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Hughes,
Present.
Fry,
Present.
Schroller,
Here.
Rom,
Here.
Barron's.
Yes.
8-0. Okay. Just need a motion to pay the bond.
Move to pay the bond at $47,682.50.
Second.
Is this a roll call vote or,
Yeah. Yes,
this one is,
pay.
okay, roll call?
Graham,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yeah.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
Barron's.
Yes.
8-0.
Move to close Public Building Commission.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
All right. We didn't have anything notices and hearings, did we?
Nope.
Okay. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second it.
Any discussion about any of the items? All in favor? Or this one's a roll call too, isn't it?
No,
Oh, this one's, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Okay, next up, we have the appropriation ordinance number 3717.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3717, the amount of $239,496.47.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call? Mr. Wright?
Yep. Graham?
Yes.
Pipia?
Yes.
Bikeman?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Schroller?
Yes.
Throm?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
8-0.
Okay, staff reports.
All right. First one up is lights in City Park, around the City Park playground. We went down and evaluated the possibility of adding lights to increase illumination around the wooden playground in City Park. But we came to the conclusion that we should probably just try adding brighter lights to the existing poles that we have down there right now.
Some LEDs.
Well, I was thinking more along the security type, which would be LEDs. They're LEDs right now, but just made to illuminate. And I talked to Rich about this from Evergy, and he said, yeah, it's the perfect lights for that. There are two light poles, one at the entrance and one by the walking path near the swings.
Right.
That if we put two brighter lights on there, replacing our existing street lights that are there, would possibly just illuminate the whole area without like shining over into the neighbors or anything like that. You'd just be able to see the park more. I think this is a more prudent approach to it rather than having us or Evergy come in and install new poles around the park. So we'd like to try that, and if that's the way you want to go, I just need a consensus that you're okay with that, because we're not adding new lights.
Just as long as we get more light in there,
Yes.
that's all I care about.
Okay. And-
Sounds good.
Yep.
Try it.
Okay, perfect. And,
I see they're tearing it out. We're starting to go back.
they were pulling the rubber out recently. We're still waiting on the estimate on how much it's going to cost so we can send it to our insurance to get it taken care of. But that was, last I heard, that was pretty close. Lots of pieces in there. Next one, City Hall printer. We had this budgeted for this year. Attached are 3 quotes, and it was kind of confusing because 2 businesses are pretty much the same name except for the last. It's Century Business Solutions versus Century Business Technologies. But 3 companies submitted what they felt were equivalent to each other. Central Office Supply sells Sharp, Central Business Solution, and Century Business Technology both sell Savin, which is what we currently have right now. But I wanted to get an equivalent to what we had in a competitor. So the 3 bids, Central Office Supply, their Sharp printer was $8,199 without a trade-in. Century Business Solutions proposed their Savin for $7,859 with, I believe they included a trade-in with that. Century Business Technologies, their price for the same machine was $5,731.15. The biggest difference is that Century Business Technologies is the state contract, so that's not surprising that they're that low. Their price for maintenance was comparable to Century Business Solutions, but if you took that, so the black and white cost CBS versus CBT was 0.008 difference or whatever that is. It would take to make up the price difference 34 years to make that up between the 2 companies.
How old's the printer we have?
5 to 7 years.
So a little bit younger.
So,
But the service contract, is this an annual service contract or?
it's we keep it as long as we have the machine. So we kept CBS's as long as we had the machine. They come up, they maintain it, and they charge us per copy. They take how many copies, as they call it, off the counter and charge us that way.
So is it, I mean, can they increase it? Is it renewed annually?
I can only speak for the one we have.
The one we have right now.
And the one we have now, yes, they have increased it.
Yes.
Year over year, or?
Yeah.
How significantly?
So, yeah.
Noticeably?
And black and white, that they gave us a minimum number and we never hit that number, and they just never did it on the color because, we just print a lot of color because that's what you guys want to see, and so, or everybody wants to see, so that one they don't. But it has probably at least gone up a third, if not a little more. That does include your toner. I mean, it is the toner and anything if they come and fix it. You call them, they're here.
Yes.
I mean, the company we have now, that's what they do. And the state contract said they would be the same. They have others in town.
Right. The Century Business Technology serves businesses or the community over in Seneca. They said their contract with the state requires them to respond within 2 hours.
I was going to ask time-wise.
Yeah.
So you mean it's about $332.68?
Is what they estimate, yes. Per quarter, or, let's see. How did that, either it was that looks like per quarter, or per month or per quarter. I can't remember.
That's what they're
We pay $1,200. It's probably per month.
Well, it shouldn't be per month because that's like, that rate's half the price we pay right now.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I'd have to, because I think $1,200
You mean
is a lot.
that's what they're figuring that it cost you for the copies?
yes, that service contract, yes. That's what taking into effect these rates right there. That's how much they're saying they're gonna cost us.
The service contract can increase over the life of the
Of the machine. Because right now we pay double the rate what they're going to charge us right now. Yes.
How much?
We pay at least the color is double this rate.
Put a figure on it.
8 cents. 8 cents per color copy.
Okay.
Per side. Yes. Whereas this new one would be 4 cents, 4.3 cents.
We gotta quit using that color.
So do these other machines then, will they increase over the life of the machines?
Yes. Because as maintenance goes up, they charge you more.
As the old machine gets older, it takes more maintenance to maintain that
Right.
machine, more parts to maintain the machine.
So if the Century Business Solutions is the current business we go through right now. And their rate may be 4.5 cents per color right this second, but they will raise it over time. Just like CBT will probably raise it as well.
Okay.
And the one you're recommending is, are we trading anything in on it?
They didn't ask for a trade-in. I would probably sell the current one.
Sell it?
Surplus it?
Surplus it, yes.
Purple Wave it?
Purple Wave or one of those entities. Yes, we would get money. Because they did not ask for our machine.
That's good. I mean, we could recoup a little more that way.
Yeah.
Well, if we ask them what kind of a deal we could make with a trade, maybe we could buy it and they'd take our machine. Nobody wants to try that, or what?
I would prefer, I think we'd get more money off of Purple Wave. And we don't even have to do anything with Purple Wave. They come out and do it for us.
And they probably aren't going to differentiate where it's coming from as far as a business or a government entity, whereas I would think on Purple Wave, it might bring a little bit of a premium coming from a government agency because they're going to figure the government agency is going to take better care of the equipment than a business might, as far as it's going to be a cleaner environment, all
Right.
those sorts of things.
Correct. That's exactly what happens.
I'll move to approve buying the 7 IMC4 500 from Century Business Technologies for $5,731.15 to come out of the general fund.
Second.
And surplus the existing printer.
And we'd already budgeted for this, correct?
Yes, it's in the budget. It's the one thing under admin.
Second agrees with that.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain because I work for Central Office Supplies.
Okay. Thank you.
71701. Yep. Okay. The third thing on the list is I was asked to bring back a list of possible locations for a new water shop, so I included that. I also included a list of appraised value. What I didn't tend for in this is an open session discussion on negotiation. So if we want to go into executive session to talk about property acquisition, probably now would be the time, or if you want to.
now, or you want?
We can wait till later.
Wait till
but
later in the meeting.
Have your thoughts in your head whenever we go into executive session.
Let's keep rolling, I think.
Okay.
Okay with everybody else? I like the executive session at the end. I'm old fashioned that way.
All right, fourth thing on the list, we are off to a decent start for financials. Not much has gone on in the first month. General fund is sitting at about $1.3 million. Water fund increased about $10,000 from the previous month, and the sewer fund increased about $18,000 from the previous month. We also saw an increase of about $50,000 in the sales tax fund. I'm hoping actions this year will continue to increase our funds, or at least maintain a good amount of money in each of our funds, so that we continue to operate. But beyond that, like I said, it's been 1 month into the year and we're doing pretty good. And that's all I have.
Standing committee reports. Anybody have anything on the street? Kevin?
I did have a
Nothing
question on the street. You had mentioned in the, I think it was the weekly report about you and Gary went and looked at the approach to the South Viaduct.
Right.
And the worst part being on the state side.
Yeah.
Did you have any luck as far as shaking any information loose out of KDOT as far as if they've got, I noticed they resurfaced south of the viaduct. Did they just forget that they also have road on the north side?
No, there has been some confusion between us and KDOT and about where the line is actually, and I think they are just cautious.
Can we seed it all the way down to Jackson and let them have that whole section?
I doubt they would take it. They'd have to agree for it, that to happen.
Okay, just thought it might be worth a shot. Clear up the confusion.
Yeah. No, I haven't gotten any further with KDOT.
Tell them if they concreted that whole section, it would save them a lot over the lifespan of the road.
That would be nice.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Boy can dream.
There is something I have. Just
Okay.
we overlaid this highway, how many years ago now? 3?
Not very long ago.
It's been 3.
Yeah.
And I know we're gonna do it in 7 years. And I think right before we did that project, Kent wanted us to dig 2 big holes in it. One at 11th Street and one at 9th Street to put 2 new sewer manholes in. So either this fall or next spring would probably be the best time to, if we're gonna do this, to get those dug so that street's got time to settle before we overlay it again in 3 years.
Good point.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Just something-
What'd you say, this spring?
Later this fall or early next spring, just something that we need to be looking at, so that's got some time to settle in there, so we don't get
Okay. we can,
I know it's something we need to look,
that could definitely be a project in 2021, yes.
So-
Early spring.
because I know Kent said it's a long stretch to run a sewer truck through.
It is, because they wanted every 400 feet.
Right.
It's been operating just, I mean, we haven't had any issues so far, but that's not, I mean, that's looking ahead right there. Yes, I agree.
Also on, I guess it's street, off the northeast corner of 9th and Center, where they took down the Belfry building recently, there was at one time, a light pole, I think one of those fancy ornamental light poles that existed there for where there used to be a hamburger stand, but between there and the Firestone, but there's a wooden box over it now.
Okay.
There were the bare wires, I brought it up probably 2 years ago, and there's a wooden box. I personally have picked up that box and put it back over the wires twice walking by. I thought that was kind of a short-term solution till they were gonna do some demolition, which they've done, and other projects there. I'd like to see a light pole go back in there, since I don't know what the future holds for that, but I assume eventually we'll want to have one there.
We should have another decorative light that came out of there.
I was gonna say, I don't know where that one is.
Where'd they go?
In lieu of that, then I think we should find if we're not gonna do that, we should find a more permanent solution than
A wooden
the
box.
chipboard box, because I picked it up out of the highway before it got ran over the last time.
Okay.
So
I was not aware of that, but I will.
I don't know if those wires are live, but I would assume they are. So,
I'll check into that.
okay, cool.
That's,
The road between 11th Road between Kramer's, where you drop off Kramer's, and Keating Drive is horrible. We deliver Meals on Wheels out there, and it is, I met a car the other day, and it was terrible. You can't meet a car, and there's not two-lane traffic on that road.
No, there's not.
I know we've had a lot of discussions about what that road surface, 11th Road in general should be, but that's a high traffic area between
Yes, there's
Keating Drive
Yeah,
and
it
the
is.
concrete.
There's a lot of traffic on there.
And turning traffic coming in and out of Keating Drive, so I can't see anything but that as concrete in the
I know they
long-term
can't,
solution.
they have a hard time trying to hold that asphalt right off the edge of that
Right.
You can
concrete
see
drive
right
there.
where it
Yeah,
cuts in.
I'll see what Gary can do about that.
maybe that's one of those sections we just need to make concrete clear across the street there.
We'd probably, if we'd have known, what was going to all be built on Keating Drive when we concreted to the top of the hill, I think that probably would have been something we would have looked at.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst section.
It
is.
And it's two-way traffic more, and it's heavier traffic.
It's awful.
Anything else on the street? Water and wastewater?
Yeah, I have a question that was brought to my attention by a few people at church yesterday, and I didn't have the answer, so I figured I'd ask. When you come to Marysville and we ask for a $100 deposit to turn your water on, and then you move to a different house, and it costs you another $100.
Nope. It only costs you 10 if you always pay your bill on time.
It only costs
It
you...
only costs you 10. The only time it costs you 100 again is if you've had 2 penalties or shut-offs in the year.
Okay.
No, it's $10, that's all. It's the
somebody
same
asked
thing
me
as
that.
turning on your sprinkler or, nope, and it's only turn on. So like you can turn your sprinkler off.
Right.
It costs you nothing.
Right.
But next spring when you turn it on, it's $10. But
Okay.
you can move 4 times a year if you want to. And
it's
you're
$10
brave enough,
piece.
and it's $10.
It's $10.
That's it.
Okay.
It's only $10 unless you don't pay your bill, and that's because of the recovery of.
Okay. And I know it takes our guys time to go out and read
But
the
$10
meter.
is not even enough to pay the guy to go out to
That's
do the
what I
reading
mean.
and read all
We've
the
got
notes.
expenses in
it's-
this stuff.
That's not. Yeah, but it's only 100 if you haven't paid your bill.
Okay. I just,
No, you're right. No, that needs to be clarified.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
so, I was asked about it, and I says, I will ask tonight.
Absolutely.
and you
No,
can
thank
watch
you.
it.
That's good. I know. I want people to know that, so that way, they know.
Since we're
And they do sign that when they come in. That is on the sheet when you sign up for water. It says it right on there,
Okay.
so they do know if they read it.
Okay.
the water line break we had up at on Carolina, I think that was, this maybe could go on round table, but they did, I think, a pretty good job getting that fixed pretty quickly. Even I know a lot of people were out of town, I was out of town and my kids were panicked and I was like, go to the basement, you see water. My house that was broken. But no, then I checked social media, but I don't know, who puts that out on social media? Do you do that or do you do that?
Usually Deborah's,
Sammy.
or Sammy, yeah, depending on which.
I know a lot of people said they saw it on there, so
Yeah,
I think
right,
that's
yeah.
great.
We get a lot of responses from, at least people liking it and sharing it when we put it on Facebook.
And we do
It's a good
try
response.
to get in contact with the people if we're gonna shut their water off. You know, door to door, the guys, we tell them,
Yeah.
go knock on that door, let them people know.
Parks and Rec?
I brought up, I don't know if it was the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, about looking at getting a hydrant on or a spigot on the side of the Main Street building.
Right.
Down there, this is, I guess, kind of water, kind of parks. Have you had a chance to inquire about that?
It's a possibility.
I know it's not the ideal time to start.
Right,
cutting holes in the walls.
that's where we're at right now. We can do it.
Okay.
We just gotta figure out if we want to go through the mechanical room or if we want to something else, because it's got to be an on-building hydrant.
We have a Pony Express gravel dash meeting this week, and I'm sure that'll come up again, because that's, it's nice to have.
Right. I'll see if I can move it along, but
Okay, great.
the consensus was it was a possibility.
Okay, cemetery and airport? Police and fire?
Go ahead.
Jump back to cemetery and airport for a minute.
Yes.
I didn't follow up. I asked about the new asphalt on the taxiways up there, and they had drop-offs, but they did go and put soil on the sides of it.
Yeah, our guys did it.
Okay, I didn't know if we did that or who did that.
Right after Hall Brothers got done, Dale said that's a little steep, so he
Yeah.
went and did it.
Okay, that was great. I thought that was
Yeah.
a pretty good job. That's all.
Going back to Parks and Rec one more time.
I can only go back one.
Well, I'm going back two. How are we doing on lifeguards and managers for the pool?
Nothing confirmed right now.
Okay.
But
I do have that
we're
out.
advertising, yes.
I know
put
it's
it
on
out-
Facebook, yeah,
right,
I've seen it.
That if you want to learn to be a lifeguard, that the class is in
Beatrice, yeah. I've seen
Beatrice,
it.
because that's what you're gonna have to do. There was one in February, one in March, one in April. Please, 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 if you're thinking about being a lifeguard, I don't care what town you're from, or you know a kid that's in Hanover or anywhere else, send them up to get their certificate. We'll pay them back for it. I mean,
Right.
they just gotta go get it, but
Yeah.
there's
People
only
are-
so many trainings available.
Yeah.
People are asking what's going on, so lots
Yeah.
of questions.
If they got a lifeguard, send them our way, or somebody who wants to be a lifeguard, send them our way.
Do they get reimbursed
Yes.
for it?
Yep.
They don't have to
Training
stay,
paid.
they don't have to stay 2 years or?
What is it we do? We
Well,
just
I
I was
pay.
back and
gonna-
look at
I
the
was
book.
gonna
I know
look
you
it
gotta
up.
do
I
it at
haven't
least
looked
1
it up.
year.
Yeah, they get stay for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, police and fire?
I have one question,
Yeah.
but it's a thorn in my side, but I've also been asked about it.
Yeah.
Our police aren't handicapped, and the sheriff's department isn't. We don't have any handicapped people on the police department, do we?
That I'm aware of.
Well, I was just curious because.
Not
our
a good
biggest-
question to ask, please.
Well, I'm interested for the public and myself. Our biggest contributor to sales tax is Walmart. And we've got a lot of people that are elderly here in town that have to walk a little ways farther because there's empty parking places that are reserved for our police at Walmart. I
Walmart
wanna-
set that up themselves.
But I wonder if the city could go tell them that we didn't like it that way.
We can't tell them anything. It's their parking lot.
I understand it is, but it don't look good for our town that our cops have to have handicapped places to park.
They probably give them that, I'd assume, so that if they call them for something out there, they can.
They don't park in the fire lane.
Right, they don't park in the fire lane. That was their choice. It's their parking lot. There's nothing against the rules about it. And if
I
you
understand
want
that.
to,
I know. And you go out of town to any other Walmart and they have them there too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's-
Probably a national
Yeah.
thing to show they support.
Right, and if you or anybody else has a concern about that, I would suggest you take it up with
So I
Walmart.
understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I just don't want to see any of our police officers on crutches out there because they gotta have a special place to park.
They were surprised themselves that it was there.
Yeah, some of them don't.
Anything else on police and fire? Admin and finance? The appointments and, the appointments for the city council committee meeting, members are on the back. Just got that motion to accept those.
Move approved mayor's standing committees.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we have Dean. I also nominated Dean Thomas for an alternate on the zoning board of appeals.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need the executive session, I guess.
You got the motion.
Yep. Oh, I'll read it.
No, you can't read it.
can't
Oh, I
read it.
can't, that's right. God,
I'd love for you to read it.
You can't.
I move the city council recess into executive session for preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property pursuant to KSA 75-4319B6. This meeting will include the mayor, city council, and city administrator. The open meeting will resume at in the city council chamber at, how long do we need?
Just 20.
At 8:55.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
All right, I might need it again.
About that, that's another perk of being mayor, I don't have to read that stupid thing. Kevin usually gets around with doing that.
I'm closer.
That's because he...
Meeting back to order, no binding decisions were made. Roundtable. Dina? Nothing? Bobby?
No.
Keith?
No.
No.
Eric? Todd?
Well, it wasn't a specifically Marysville event, but the Chardon Polka Band in Okido last Friday, put on by the Marshall County Arts Cooperative, was great. Obviously I'm partial to Marysville, but it's nice to see that they try to spread the wealth all around, and there was a good chunk of Marysville there. I've never seen the Okido road so busy. And they should have had traffic counters out there for state funding or something.
That would have been nice.
What you gonna do? But nope, that's all I got.
But they did go to the schools, so.
They did, and
They went to the schools all around the county and the Marysville schools,
Yes.
and I think several of the school children, some of them were there, and so it was great fun for everybody, so hats off to them, so it's wonderful.
Colleen? Kevin?
Nope.
Nothing?
See
I
you.
don't have anything either.
move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
There wasn't hardly anybody on the road we went, so you were.